Alex Ansary here. It is February 28th, 2017. Continuing our discussion on what is taking place with the alleged Google censorship, as well as certain ad companies pulling their revenue away from certain personalities, people like Alex Jones, others. We talk about the future. How does the independent voice continue in light of this censorship? Bringing you my own unique perspective outside the box. I give it to you straight, at least in my eyes. I see others that want to make themselves victims without acknowledging that this algorithm that has changed is affecting everyone. We're talking about pop culture celebrities on YouTube that don't get political. You know, for years, people have said, don't get political, don't get religious. You know, you'll be more popular with the masses. And we see viral YouTubers. Some people have gaming channels. It's not just about the cats. It's not just about the twerk videos. It's not just about the street fight videos. There's something else that's going on that's affecting the independent content creator. So I just wanted to start with a reminder that that's what we're dealing with. And when I say that the future is on demand, listener supported, I'm not joking. Now, I've been involved in putting out content for 12 years. It's only recently that I got a functional newsletter going. It's only recently that I started an on-demand channel. Prior to that, it was like basically a donation thing at random. And we're currently, some of us, we're currently still in the era to where we can survive somewhat without donations. But in the last few months, things have taken a dramatic turn with the election of Donald Trump. And you have mostly pro-Trumpers now in the alternative media, whereas before, which is really strange, which apparently my channel has spent a lot of time focusing on. If you're new, check it out. What has happened in the liberty movement? What's happening to all these so-called anarchists or anti-statists? Look at how they're just getting down and they're government bootlickers. And they're in denial about that. If you point out, they'll call you a libtard. They might even call for you to be deported. Kind of proving the fact that they've become fascists instead of like debunking the claim. It's real interesting logic. And the lack of logic is physically frightening. Because you wonder, what is Alex Jones as a provocateur there to set up? It seems to be that Alex Jones is conspiring against free speech by engaging in actions that morally he knows he's in the wrong. Because if any of you are old school Alex Jones fans, as opposed to the new Alex Jones, you know the difference between his message and his Mideast commentary and the people over there. That's not compatible to go from exposing false flag terror to saying they're all terrorists. That's an extreme difference. That means those that are current Alex Jones fans, including those women in particular, those are a special kind of human. They are actually dangerous at this point because they genuinely believe what Alex Jones is saying, that the number one threat is Muslims coming to rape them, and that they are merging with the New World Order, or that the New World Order is with the Muslims. If you learn how to understand how propaganda works, how they mix topics together, truth and fiction. And as that phrase said, people said this about Alex Jones years ago, it's that 1% that'll kill you. It's like cyanide when it comes to the disinformation or things to that effect. Well, when you look at the amount of disinformation versus truth, the truth versus disinformation comparison barometer is no longer 10-90 or 90-10. 90% truth, 10% maybe stretching the facts. It's flipped on its head. Boom. And that's not like a positive flipping of a situation or a pyramid. Okay. So he is contaminating human consciousness by promoting the illusions of separation. This is known as the offensive term to many of you as racism. What I have been calling the illusions of separation for years, which happens to be a spiritual reference for any of you that have read spiritual texts or anything from the Gnostics, or there's a book called by Joel Goldsmith, Schmidt, Conscious Union with God. So there's, various books that, if you're anything like me, you collect because you're interested in the spiritual journey of the soul. Not to go off topic, but that's really where I resonate, from a non-religious yet profoundly spiritual contemplation as to what I'm doing here with you. Also, how I've been protected by some of the demons of this world up until this point. And I've seen how acknowledging the Creator's protection offends those, or is strange commentary to those that have never actually believed in the concept of being protected by the Creator. You can see those in our world that have no faith in the Creator, that live in fairly safe communities, mansions, and yet they're promoting all this fake invasion news as if they've checked out. And some will even come in the name of Yahweh, using the Lord's name in vain, one could say. And with hundreds of racist comments that have been directed at me from people that are coming from the Alex Jones, Donald Trump camp, it is true that a very large percentage of them that believe white is the only thing that's right, they are supporting these men. But what is Donald Trump and Alex Jones, by the way, doing for the white supremacists in their communities? Alex Jones nor Donald Trump, neither of them was there when the story went viral that I got out to the media through my YouTube channel regarding Costia County, Colorado, and off-gridders, mostly white, being kicked off their land by what I believe to be a racist Hispanic local government that didn't want the new off-gridders moving in once marijuana was legal. There was a stigma, stereotype, assumption. Everybody came to steal from their town well to grow large amounts of marijuana. Long story short, you can watch hundreds of my videos on YouTube. Type in Costia County and my name. And you're going to be blown away. And you're going to, where was Trump on this? You'll notice in the comments section, oh, we got to tell Alex Jones. We got to tell these people, Trump, Jones, someone's got to step in. This is racism against white people. Where were those two men? And yet you have what is perceived to be a multiracial human, myself, right? Because of the darker skin tone and my father's Middle Eastern origins. And yet because of that alone, I'm seen as white genocide despite my contributions to the truth movement. And people want to tell me that Alex Jones and Donald Trump are not provocateurs in their own right. With regards to Donald Trump, the provocateur, I talked more extensively in previous podcasts about the road to World War III. And in previous videos before Trump came on the scene, I've been warning you about this conflict with China and Russia. And I've been reporting on my program Out to the Box, going all the way back to Access TV, about the Russia-China alliance. And that all this buildup, including the U.S. and the Middle East, was all by design to weaken us. And we talked about this scenario all the way back in 2008 with Leon Legant, my guest, who shared with us his visions. Not what he fantasizes about, whether he likes it or not, the dreams that he's been having since the age of 10. And then I found out there are others that have also had the dreams, that have the intuition about the coming red sky. So when I look at this number one provocateur of the planet, Donald Trump in that respect, followed by Alex Jones, see, this is wicked evil. Alex Jones was one of several people, but the predominant one that inspired me back in 2002 to start looking at stuff. Because he was the only one talking about 9/11 and discussing, without being so direct about it, these radical groups in the Middle East being funded by the CIA. That's irrational, to go from a decade of that kind of research to then demonizing innocent people and then getting behind other memes saying it's mostly men coming through, not women, men, and children. And there was a lot of disinformation that was put out there that suggested such a reality was taking place, furthering the fake conspiracy meaning that the New World Order had joined forces with the Islamic religion and had a Muslim in the U.S. White House. All of this is fabricated while more Muslims, by the millions. I mean, I really want you to wrap your mind around it, not feel guilty about anything in particular, unless, of course, you've supported people that have engaged in this. And I think that's why some people don't want to look at it. Their silence also haunts them as well. But from a spiritual perspective, to go back to that, there are some major activations of what you can call archonic entities or Babylonian demonic spirits that may have been laying dormant in the Middle East for some time. I'll always remember Clyde Lewis's Shekinah radio broadcast. Times have changed a lot since 2003 in that broadcast, and Clyde Lewis and I have gone in different directions. I would no longer consider us friends. I truly believe Clyde Lewis went knowingly into a disinformation spin doctor direction for anyone that's able to find his shows of the last few years since he went back on the media. Fake predictions about Donald Trump being, killed before the election. Notice those that made Obama to be literally the Antichrist, not so concerned about Donald Trump. Instead of just seeing, you don't have to hate one or love one more than the other. You could see them literally as servants of the same agenda. Why is that so hard? Why does race and appearance have to come into it? I mean, seriously, here we have the Donald. We have here a blonde, redhead type archetype. Perceived pure bloodline Aryan. The real Aryans, by the way, are Persians, Iranians. Some of you have yet to do homework, including myself. All this is real new. A lot of terms have been inverted for the purpose of racism. But Donald Trump's actual look itself, and then you compare that to the far-right female that is running in France, and then you look at a few people in the parliament in the UK. It's like there's some sort of a Donald Trump monkey family tree that's been injected and planted, selected to play the supposed squeaky clean, great white hope. So there's several ways in which Jones and Trump are provocateuring. Let me sum this up. With Jones, the provocateuring, pollute the web with disinformation to prepare it for the hate crime legislation. Donald Trump, prepare white people for their attack on the part of those in ghettos and other areas that at some point have just had enough. To actually trigger people that are in bad situations caused by what is often called institutional racism, to a point where all of a sudden you start seeing more stories about white girls getting raped or white guys being beat up or Trump supporters being attacked because Trump set up his own support base. I heard Mike Adams, who's been blacklisted by Google. He believes it's because of his Trump support, but he doesn't want to take accountability for maybe his other actions and disinformation and false cures for cancer. Oh, there's great information to a degree that he's posted. There's also other things that are highly questionable. And they basically are talking about, he's talking with Dave Hodges, who actually puts out genuine fake news. Dave Hodges, the so-called Common Sense Show. So the top guys in the alternative media are putting out disinformation, and they're being paid by Google. Okay, they haven't actually lost their AdSense yet in most of these cases. Ad roll is not the same as AdSense, but it could be coming. We're definitely seeing warning signs, but so far, I've seen how Google has aided and abetted and enabled and made millionaires out of disinformation specialists. And that would be a very serious sign if you saw Google and YouTube AdSense pull out of Alex Jones, the Alex Jones empire. And it still could happen, but there's still funding for Alex on the other end, and in no way would he be censored. He would still be able to continue. He's a provocateur in so many obvious ways at minimum, people talk about conspiracy theories or 9/11, vaccines, other issues that are all important. Not all the conspiracy theories are accurate, though. But there is a new world order. It's actually currently in operation. People are just stuck in this West versus East. Which one's going to lead the new world order, Putin or the West? Paradigm. They refuse to look at the global partnerships. They look at what the media wants them to look at, whether it's Trump and Putin or Obama and Putin or Bush and Putin. Now, we keep coming back to this because the true relationship has always been very, very different. That's why you've seen them vacation together in some cases. You would have thought people would have figured it out with George W. Bush. I mean, that was in plain sight. They already showed you. I mean, that wasn't just, oh yeah, we go out, we vacation, we fuck each other's wives, and kids. But we really do have geopolitical tensions to where we really might attack each other. We really do have drills all the time where we come up on Russia's doorstep and they build more weapons because they might fight the West. But the world leaders, they'll get together with their shirts off and ride horses. This is all normal. This is all normal. And I'm going to get back to my main topics, but I mean, it takes an abnormally low level of intelligence and intuition to fall for a line that Russia and the U.S. are not really aligned with the global order, to really fall into this East versus West paradigm without realizing it's a show. Why is it a show? Because they're going to form armies and send the people to war against each other. And just because you don't understand the concept of evil in this world that works 24/7 to turn man and woman against man and woman, and in particular, they love to use racism to get it going. One group's over here, and they're going to hurt you, says the propaganda machine. And they're doing this to you, and they are a threat to your women. They are a threat to your children. They're a threat to your genetics. You got to do something about it. Well, in the case of the Middle East, they already are committing a genocide. So this propaganda that Alex Jones has bathed himself, he's bathed himself in the blood of the child. Okay, it's no different in my eyes energetically. Cut the head off, just like you accuse ISIS of, and all these other people of wanting to kill and rape, as they call everybody in the left, supporters of jihad and women being raped. They say this. No, they literally say that in quote. They don't deal with like genuine conspiracies and plots anymore. It's the left wants to be gang raped by the Muslims. They're that kinky. And just because there are kinky people, and I've talked about some of the stuff, just society in general, and we can talk about that. But then to isolate it to, attacking white women for bringing other forms of life other than what is perceived to be this superior, pure Aryan. Again, look up Ariana and look up ancient Persia. And then look up the history of the word Aryan being used for racist purposes to promote the Germanic bloodline. Okay, if you're willing to do that research, you will find out. And so what you're seeing today is mirroring, it's true, what we saw in Nazi Germany. But are the people of the Middle East, are Middle Eastern humans that live in the United States, are they going to be put in the oven? Or is this fear being put out there because the agenda is for the world governments to form a coalition, not just an economic coalition, but a military coalition? If there's ever going to be any concentration camps where people are interned based on their ancestry, and here we have a story, ancestry and religion ends up getting Muhammad Ali's son detained for 2 hours. And there's a story about that. You look at the comment section, people are saying that's okay. Who cares who his father was? He's a Muslim. People like people getting detained based on their race and or religion, and mixing race with religion. Oh, the Muslims, when oftentimes they mean Middle Easterns. Even you look at the left, they're like, all this racism. We have racism against the left, racism against the blacks, racism against the racism against the who? See, even the people on the left that act like they're trying not to be judgmental, they have their terms wrong. Islam is a religion. Middle Eastern, Semitic, brown, Afghan, Iranian, Iraqi, other ways of describing. Whenever people have used the term Babylonian, it's never really felt right or come across. A lot of these people that are wrapped up in their own particular interpretation of the Bible, they have taken their view of people over there to a very unspiritual level. So we talk about manipulations of the Bible, manipulations of the text to take people away from the true God, to taking them to a place to where they're dealing with the demiurge. So when you see people thanking God for Trump, they're not thanking God. Okay. They're not thanking God at all. If they may have been religious at one point, if they may have been close to God at one point, but they're literally thanking a deity for a man who's bringing pain and suffering to others, judgment to others, they've stepped away from their closeness to God. And they've taken a close leap into and onto the crotch of the devil of this world, or the demon of this world, or the fallen god of this world, the demiurge consciousness, the archonic agenda. And that's what it is. The perception of mixed race humans exploding like a virus around the world. People that are different because they have a stronger combination of genetics. These archonic entities are unhappy with what is taking place. They've hijacked even Archon research. And they have their infected members, the alternative media, saying that the Archons are the ones behind the race mixing agenda. And they catapult this propaganda with another article about Pizzagate and another article about Soros. And they got it down to a point to where there's only a few people that are believed to be behind the New World Order. George Soros and Hillary Rodham Clinton. There are no others. You have assistants, alleged assistants, Google, Bill Gates, the rest of the tech industry. Yes, the rest of the tech industry. That's why Zuckerberg is censoring 9/11 conspiracy related topics from ever making it to the trending news section again. That's what their response was initially to the fake news bombshell, which Facebook was promoting. But yet if you look up fake news information, they've created algorithms. Now they're going to stop the fake news. They're going after innocent content creators and shares. They still have freaks that are either human or robotic trolls at the David Icke group. Nothing to do with David Icke. It's just called the David Icke group. Anybody can start a group. On Facebook, full of people pushing this nonsense. So like I said, I don't necessarily agree with censorship or some people being punished in some circumstances, losing their advertising revenue, as I talked about in the recent podcast. But if people are going to go out there and start calling for these wars to take place and for people to be deported and to be saying that all these people are racist and literally to marginalize millions to billions on the planet. Okay, whether you agree with even my idea of how things work, it brings bad luck. I can be thinking that I'm in the right. And I could be ranting and raving about an innocent person or just a person in general and talking about how they should die or they should be raped or they should be sent over here or they should be tortured or they should be whipped. Okay. No doubt in my mind something bad's going to happen. For some reason, say a few times when I was a kid I shoplifted, I got busted right away. So my juvenile delinquency history as a kid is incredibly brief. When I briefly got involved in drugs, you've heard me reference this, and I've referenced how quick it happened, how quick I got in, how quick I got out. It took a few years, and there were a few months in between, so there was like coming back and then get my life straight out. It wasn't until I became an activist or researcher, a philosopher, it wasn't until I tapped into my own truth that was behind me, and I was immediately doing media, doing media, creating content. It's like, that was my religion isn't the right word. That was my salvation. That literally saved my life. I actually used to say 9/11 truth saved my life. Now it's so much bigger and I'm on to other topics. And I realize that's a very dangerous topic. By the way, it's not just the keywords that they're looking at when they demonetize on YouTube. They know what's being said in the video. They actually have a CC option where a computer has attempted to, and I don't know how accurate it is. I heard it's fairly accurate, where it has broken down what's being said. And you can actually look at the transcript. So I don't know if that's a function that I have to turn on. Maybe you can check it out for yourself. Only one of you, only one person happens to be my volunteer down in Texas. She doesn't smoke pot, even though I don't have a problem with pot. I've noticed the only people that have actually helped me at all, really, do any real and volunteer on a level are like non-smokers. I just love sharing that trivia. Because as a pot smoker, on occasion, not today, and we're snowed in, got a foot out, I realize that no matter how much I try to fight that reality, the people that smoke pot, oh gee, what a surprise. They have no incentive to want to volunteer. Volunteer making music, art. For some reason, it's always that person that's so straight that, they're not distracted. But side issue. That's also a challenge I issued to any of you that is a creative, that does make music and smoke pot. I just challenged you to be one of the first people in years to contact me via email saying, Alex, I make quality soundtrack music, and I got a bunch of stuff that I can share with you for free. Just give me some credit or say, music provided by, and that would be great. Let's set up a Dropbox. I'll be downloading stuff by tonight. No, I'm serious. I want to make documentary films. This is a good segue to get me back on track, because making higher quality videos is the way to survive the fake news witch hunt. We should also understand there's the things that we're going through in our life, and then there's the things that other people go through. Could be karma, could be something else. There's a reason for everything. I believe that. And I'm not here to cater to, people that want to believe that everything is random, that there is, like what's called a master design behind this, and or master designer. I recognize the universal creator, and I believe that that which many people believe to be God is an archonic imposter. And that would be the God of the Old Testament, and what some people believe to be the God of the Quran, to be an imposter, as opposed to the true God, which in no way operates, the true creator, like these potential alien beings or dark ETs. See, my research goes in this direction. My heart speaks from this perspective, and I see a dark ET agenda to demonize darker skinned humans around the world. For some reason, they want them dead, and they want less of them in the future. And the question is, why is that? And why are they seen as a threat? And is there something really going on, whether it be from the sun or energetically, that is a threat to these energetic parasites that seem to be so dominant at this time? Is it really a scramble? A lot of the ways that people have described stuff in the New Age movement in particular, and ironically, which really almost seems to dovetail some of the mainstream conspiracy talking points, is that the elite are panicked. And they're doing all this stuff because they're panicked. And they're going to lose all these ways of controlling people like overnight. And what I think is possible is that they are in a mad dash to do certain things by a point in time. I don't think that they're panicked, that they're losing all power this year or next year. It's ridiculous to say the globalists are panicked about Donald Trump. This is the biggest internet conspiracy hoax of all time. This particular scenario. It's got to be. This has got to be the greatest conspiracy hoax of all time, to suggest that the world powers are freaked out about Donald Trump and that they don't have some sort of a plan for where they're going to take the country, using him and others to follow, just like they used Trump and Bush, as they play up these fake fights between the presidents. But yet in plain sight, you'll have Michelle Obama and Bush fondling each other, cuddling together. Cuddling. Just type it in. Michelle Obama, George Bush, hug. Okay. Yeah, those are really two different administrations. Like, people learn nothing from. You would even think that people on the left that don't like Donald Trump, but like Obama, you would think that they would be like, well, wait a minute, Obama's kind of quiet about this dude. Obama talked about an orderly transition to the military. Obama didn't really go with much of a fight. Look at him. He's over there having a party. These people are like, I want my Obama back. Wow. I mean, they don't even get it. Obama doesn't care. Obama is homies with Trump. These are damaged human beings. Damaged. Damaged. People wonder why I live off the grid. That's my political position. To live as far away from your communities as physically possible. And to be able to find a way from here on out to purchase food for myself. To improve my life, to accrue gas money so I can take a road trip and do a documentary. I need to raise that money. How can you help me? Join on demand. In a few weeks, I am raising or potentially changing the price by a few dollars. But see, I'm doing this as a fundraiser, setting it right now at, it's actually at $7.50. Okay, so basically like 3 cups of coffee or 4 cups of coffee. You know, $2 here and some tax. So think about 3 cups of coffee. Think about like a quarter a day. Is Alex Ansary worth a quarter a day? I mean, contemplate that. Each and every one of you. Well, of course he is. I mean, that's so low. And some people like think it's so low, they're like embarrassed to donate. Folks, you guys got it all wrong. I'm sorry. Every dollar matters. And by signing up on a monthly basis, it takes it out automatically. You don't have to worry about it. Does it take a debit card? It might. Just try. OutsideTheBox.vhx.tv. That's OutsideTheBox.vhx.tv. You know, I'm a one-man show. I have a computer without a advanced video editing software program on it. It has some limitations. But I do a lot with what I've got. I'm using a headset now that I found at the thrift store for $1. When you help someone who is an underdog, who literally was homeless just a few years ago, who now by himself, without sponsors, without family, being what they call white genocide and dealing with that emotional terrorism and being the only person of Middle Eastern descent that I know of in the alternative media. No one else has said anybody else. Someone that's not just has a YouTube channel, but has, done this for a while. Is involved in exposing things and isn't so much dominant left or right. You do have people of Middle Eastern descent on the left and right because it's safe to pick a camp in their eyes. I've never felt comfortable picking a camp. So I have the intelligence. I have the looks. That's right. I have other things to excel if I was in the left or right. But because I'm not, and I'm not afraid to talk about the archons. See, people that look at things in an ethnocentric society are viewed as schizophrenic. It doesn't matter if I had an ancestor 1,000 years ago who was a mystic. This society is so mindfucked by some of the atheistic programs and the religious indoctrinations. I always chuckle when I get these. Alex, I just love your comment. Really interesting stuff, but your mystical content is scaring me. Please stop. It's satanic. There's actually a lot of valuable information that I have to share with the audience, but there is way too much disrespect for what I give freely from people that find this channel. And you, the viewer, don't see all the comments that come in. So sometimes you might be like, I'm not seeing the comments Alex is talking about because I don't let people deface my page. All comments are on approve only mode. After what happened last month when I woke up one day to hundreds of racist and other comments. I was targeted overnight, and it may have been an overseas troll operation. White supremacists in Russia. Oh, look at this. We got ourselves a towelhead YouTuber. Yeah. Ansari. Like Aziz Ansari, the guy on Saturday Night Live. Facepalm. I hope that Aziz Ansari is going to, who is an atheist, by the way, not a Muslim. So he's actually described as a Muslim American, but he's not even a Muslim. Because, again, they keep confusing race with religion. These are very difficult times for me to be the only person on my own and without even, That's the challenging thing about being alone. Sometimes you want to hug someone and you want to have someone fill your back and just like, everything's going to be okay. I'll tell you what, when you don't have that and you have people nothing but hating you and you're seeing a fake news witch hunt and, you're like living on off $100 or whatever left in the bank account in a day and age to where, like for me, I'm the only brown face in an all white subdivision. Most of these people like freaked out about Muslims, pro-Trump. You think I feel comfortable in my neighborhood where I live? I feel safe from the fact that if the shit the fan, I'll be not dealing with some of the issues that they will be dealing with in the city. Or even just the civil unrest. It's not happening here. There are no protests here. And that's all I'm going to say. There are no protests of any kind. And so it's not going to have that same level. There's a lot of forested areas. There's more natural wildlife. There's more rainfall. It's legal to collect the rain. There's some positive things about this area, despite the fact that a lot of off-gridders are brainwashed. And they think the threat in the world is Islam. They don't realize they could be facing foreign troops from China and Russia. And that the dude with the Middle Eastern last name, whose melatonin's a little brown, lives in a little cabin and does nothing day in and day out but use YouTube to try to reach the world, to warn those that I can, to help those that I can, to educate with those with the eyes to see and ears to hear. But in doing so, and in helping those, I come under incredible spiritual attack in some cases, as well as the comments. And then there's the fear. Well, what's going to happen to the alternative media now that I've been labeled a conspiracy theorist, even by the left, even though I'm not for Trump, as they go and maybe unravel this hate speech legislation? How will I survive? And will they come for me based on my race alone? Will they come for my head? That is up to God. Whether or not you choose to believe that I'm worth 16 cents a day, that is up to you. Okay. As I sit here and I look for a quarter to grab, which I don't seem to have one within reach, I want you to think about that. Right now it's at $7.50. And we're going to change that pretty soon. So that'd be like a quarter a day. And you think about several cups of coffee to the person that works day in and day out to bring you content. And contemplate this. You don't have to send the quarter every day. It's quarter. Okay, boom. $7.50, $8 a month. At the on-demand channel, there's also an option to do it for about, I think in the end, yeah, okay. It's like, depending on what you set it at, you can pay for the full year instead of just doing the month. And so these are things to think about. The people that you watch, there may be others. This on-demand thing, you're going to see more people look in this direction this year. And I'll tell you what, it's not easy, because I know some of you want a really well-produced show. I'm one guy with no real budget for equipment or anything. I'm trying to survive, and I'm using the equipment that I have. I'm not hooked up to the grid. I rely on generators and the sun. So all this is off-grid produced. And in 3 years, I want to have my property paid off. I pay several hundred at least per month in land payments. So I'm not just living in a van down by the river. And to be honest with you, I want to thrive in the next few years. While other people are freaking out because their clickbait nature isn't working out for them anymore, I want to thrive. I want to make those documentaries about what they've done to Afghanistan. I want to talk about China in a way that won't be allowed on YouTube. And I see myself writing a lot of books in the later years, but right now, there still is a lot of people to reach worldwide. I really want to switch now over to volunteer efforts. It is incredibly difficult to the point where I just gave up. But it's like people don't want to volunteer anymore. And it seems that some of the few that do for ulterior reasons, because they want a text buddy on Facebook, they want to go back and forth over theories, because some people are straight up internet junkies. And so the internet's a drug, and like drugs that you shoot in their arm and then you get all fucking twacked out, right? There are some people that just like to get twacked out wanting to text me back and forth, and I don't do that. And I don't call people on the phone. I'm a really sensitive being, more sensitive than other people, human, entity. And a lot of the people that contact me have some serious psychological disorders. And they volunteer a lot of very bizarre information. And most of it I would never share. But if you were able to see inside my mind, and you were able to read the comments that came in, you would understand. And most of you aren't putting yourself in a situation where you're putting out controversial information, and then all these people are coming going, help me, Alex, help me. They're after me, Alex. Oh, the Arabs, the Muslims, the robots, the gang stalkers. I like your content. Oh, God. And then it's just like, whoa. This is so scary. It makes me wonder if I should just quit. Like, is this going to lead to people like, is this going to lead to physical threats for me later on with Fatal Attraction fans? Will I have to relocate? Will my last days be on the run because of some, where's Alex? He didn't go to the camps like we told him to on Facebook. Well, Alex shut his Facebook page down in time. Well, find him anyways. Someone should have told him all those with Arabic or Persian last names have to report to their local state detention facility. See, a lot of you just, you've looked at this as entertainment. But you're not realizing some of us are in the crosshairs. We're actual targets. And it's not just like one program being run. Here we have Mike Adams and Alex Jones claiming they're victims, but they literally are leading intellectually armies of men that do have violent fantasies about running up on communities and refugees and making them leave, maybe even being part of the deportation process. Their number one concern is what they call white genocide, a less white world. There are no terror attacks going off like crazy. Where have the terror attacks been since Trump? All this was like happening, false flag, during Obama, but Trump wasn't the president yet. So was Trump doing the false flags? I don't think so. The intelligence community was, and those were false flags. From the Orlando shooting to other things. But unfortunately, someone like me who's really independent from the left and the right, I'm going to be seen a certain way. And so I'm not going to be able to reach people with the big numbers. The big numbers. I'm going to really be pressing for my listeners to join my on-demand channel. And as the weeks grow, I'll be adding more content. As the months go, sure, maybe I'll bring back Outside the Box TV. But with one man, just me, I can only do so much. This isn't the mainstream media. The message, that's what you're subscribing to. Alex Ansary in the Raw. Alex Ansary speaks from the heart. Alex Ansary talks about things no one will. But am I going to do that with every video and have people attack it when I share from the heart? Or in some cases, I mean, just to be honest with you, I've shared with incredibly personal details with a lot of you, and I've seen no comments. And I'm thinking, okay, not to call you swine, but like the phrase goes, pearls before swine, that's absolutely how I feel about the situation. There are things that I've shared that I think are above and beyond. and videos that have gotten very little tread. And so it has also hit me that putting everything out for free on YouTube is absolutely not appreciated. In a buffet of all, and it's on a website that's hitting you with mind control. I believe this. I believe there's a certain amount of the audience base that just constantly in like this angry, judgmental frequency. Well, what would the energy be like if we went to another website and I moved most of my content? Would I be feeling so much hate? Or would I be feeling a little bit more love and empathy and appreciation for the audience, for the things that I'm discussing? So I honestly believe that over 85% of you that really like my content absolutely can't afford, at minimum, $5 a month to watch my content. Okay. And if you don't think I'm worth $5 a month, 2 cups of coffee to watch my content, that's like a slap in the face. It truly is. I am worth that much. And I'm telling you, I am really grateful to the 4 of you that signed up in the last week. One person signed up 4 months ago when I started it, and they stayed signed up because that person had faith in me, and I could feel that person's appreciation spiritually, almost telepathy. Just knowing what I was going through, I couldn't afford the $200 which I just spent for the server space. I invested my own money because, see, I'm having a picture myself moment. I'm tapping into something. It's not just me tapping into something and being a little bit intuitive with regards to the world events. I literally bought the server space as within 24 hours, I see 3 different people freaking out about them being attacked online. I don't mean in the comment section. They believe because they're Trump supporters that the tech industry has it in for them because they're Trump supporters. When I'm trying to tell them and you, it's happened to me too. Oh, you're feeling invisible? Welcome to the club. I thought it was because of my last name. Hell, I've been wondering all these years if some of that stuff's held me back. And then now I see people like confirming the fact they're concerned about white genocide where they never really said much before. Right? So they're proving my argument to me. But is there a conspiracy to only go after like Trump people? It's like, has their AdSense been taken away yet? Not yet. Oh, and Mike Adams, he's talking about, well, maybe, we need to contact Trump, or Dave Hodges was. And Adams said, yeah, but he's really busy right now. See, he literally backed down from a challenge to contact Trump. Why? Because he knows deep down inside, Trump doesn't care. See, some of these people actually researched real conspiracies in the past, so they know how some of this works. And so not all of them are going to make a compelling argument for why Donald Trump is with Goldman Sachs. But they will try to, because they're invested and they don't want to look bad. They don't want their ego to be bruised. They're like all in. And that's what's scary about this. You're going to see people that are all in propagandize for Donald Trump no matter what he does or no matter who he kills. They have the smoke screen of the left deep state going to take out Trump. They're going to kill Trump. They're going to take out the web so we can't expose them taking out Trump. That's what's being said from Adams. You can't really believe any of Alex Jones' projections. I love the one of October 2015. I have special, powerful pedophile friends. Well, he didn't say pedophile, but he might as well. And boy, does he look like one himself. But they're telling me October is the time. It's coming down. This was 2015. Just absolutely ridiculous. And was it all coming down? No, it wasn't. In fact, I believe there really should be an Alex Jones deprogramming series, especially for people that are really into the truth. Because if you can realize how many fake predictions are going on, maybe you'll stop predicting every year that it's going down and look at the long-term plan. And there is a long-term plan to alter humanity, and they use the solar cycles to their benefit, whether you know about this or not. Staging wars during maximums, and when there's less protests and human excitability index responsiveness during the solar minimum, they push forward things and programs when they don't want a lot of resistance. I wouldn't really interpret that as resistance, what you're seeing from the protesters. You're seeing civil unrest doesn't even describe it. It's something even more specific. But I've already called it controlled chaos, and it rises and it falls. And there are micro communities and even something sexual about it for those male and female anarchists that find each other at such events that have similar ideologies. It really might as well be a like a mating call thing. As people are hooping and hollering, and for people that are left leaning, you can find people that think like you. Unfortunately, and I'm going to bring this up in a future video, why are there more female porn stars than truthers? And really try to crack this code where there are so few actual real women on YouTube sharing the truth. And the women on YouTube in the conspiracy field, a great deal of them are disinformation specialists that are humping the Trump. They want to get down and knob that Putin. And it is kinky, sick, disturbing. As females actually literally take a sexual position with the man mounting them. Here we see all these groups not bothered by the statements of Trump, not bothered by the fact there are pictures of him with Hillary, not bothered by the fact that there's a lot of Middle Eastern people that have been killed because they've been marginalized and called terrorists, and not having compassion for the fact that they also came from women who for 9 months carried those babies. You also see other forms of mental illness. They don't want white genocide, what they call a less white world, less white babies being born, but yet they're anti-abortion. Make up your mind. You think they'd be all for abortion, and I'm not saying I am for abortion. I have avoided the whole thing in general, and I have avoided getting women pregnant. My solution to the abortion thing is to be very careful what I do with my human biology, and to put a prayer to the Creator, not for a child, but to instead remain as I am without additional responsibilities that I don't want to have to be financially bound to. Child support. Others, some humans are so lost, they feel like they actually have to have a baby to find themselves. I'm also not trying to be disrespectful to new mothers. I believe that you can be a new mother in this world and have a positive attitude, and that people are being disrespectful if they're insulting you for having a child. There's that bullshit going on. And I'm sure many young mothers that may have, had a child at some moment start crying or make noise in a coffee shop in a leftist and just feel the negativity that he got a baby. And I understand if it's like really annoying. And some parents are really annoying. Like the baby. They're babies themselves. They got those mothers fighting like a bunch of little girls on one of my most watched videos, the Walmart fight. But I saw that early on, that detest of life. And segueing back, I feel that I represent life and spirit. And it's not right for my awareness of certain things to be put in this box of conspiracy theory. I am outside the box. And I think that's what's going to make the haters angry and even jealous, especially those YouTube creators, content creators that are haters of mine. They won't go on demand and be able to have the same amount of support in some cases because they don't have a solid message. They have clickbait. They have sensationalism. When I look at myself, I feel frustrated because there's like so much inside me. It's like, you think about like, hypnosis and past life regression. Literally, I almost need to be on the couch and just get it out, spill it out. Volunteer work as we conclude this podcast. AlexAnswery.tv is my main webpage. I don't have an agenda to make a lot of money, but I want to get more noticed online with quality content regarding the sun, geopolitics, Donald Trump, off-grid living, land rights, spirituality, psychic protection. See, I put a number of things there. If you would like to be a writer for me, or if you would like to put together some original content, that would be cool to work with me to have some article posted. And I'm really actually thinking mostly spiritual warfare. I'm thinking some of you may have written something that could be of value to others, but you don't have a blog yet. Moving on, music. I'm going to think about bringing more music into my videos, as a bed and do some narration. And that'll really provide the extra content, again, royalty-free content, if you provide it, for me to work with, because it's time to hone my skills at editing video on a regular basis. I should keep doing these raw, free podcasts for the YouTube audience. But as far as video, HD video, I'm actually doing a camera upgrade here in the next few days. I'm snowed in, but it'll take some time to do it. And I'd like to do some lighting upgrades. I would like to do some microphone upgrades. But see, I also have to do some software and computer upgrades. But in the end, I have a lot to work with right now. It's just that financially speaking, the way to help primarily would be to become a subscriber on demand and have a little patience with me with regards to documentaries. But things are getting so crazy that there are things that I want to share with you from the heart on video. And I just don't believe that YouTube is that place. It's not necessarily about you. So to a few of you, don't take this so personally. I need you to consider the fact that Google and YouTube doesn't deserve all my energy all the time. They are somewhat of a beast system. And I think that you and I should be interacting more so in the sense of when you find out that there's a video up, it's because you got an email. When my video goes up on demand, you get an email saying there's a new video from Outside the Box TV with Alex Hansery. You don't have to be on YouTube. You don't have to be on Facebook. I can bypass the social media ghettos, and as a testament to my dedication and a faith that eventually, if I can have one of you subscribe every single day, and there was one yesterday, so now there's room for one of you or two of you to be the 6th or 7th subscribers at $7.99 a month. At this rate, I'm seeing a lot of positive enforcement, and most of the money did seem to come back through one particular person that donated, and a few others, but I put down $200 for 50 hours of HD video. I'm also going to work on, as I talk about really controversial subjects on those, I'm also open to suggestions. I'm going to try to bring the length down and try to have a lot of these videos under 10 minutes. All right, so you're going to see various videos come up on YouTube. They're going to tell you what's on demand. And so the link will be down in the description. You don't have to pay multiple memberships. I'm pretty sure there either is or is not. I have a person helping me with the back end. I think there is a free trial. It definitely offers a free trial. There's a lot of benefits to being an on-demand subscriber. But like I said, in particular, if you're one of those that doesn't get online very much, but you check your email, this is one of those things. And for me, I'm going to keep using YouTube to a degree, but it's going to be incredibly, it's going to be curtailed more and more. And with the royalty-free music, with even stock footage and moving backgrounds or perhaps other things that you may want to share with me, some people have asked me for a P.O. box. That's not something that currently I am putting out there. So, for the most part, I've created this one particular vehicle for people to help. And that's outsidethebox.vhx.tv. So this is my solution to the Google YouTube censorship, because I believe that my content is so outside the box, it cannot and should not ever be marginalized as right-wing, left-wing conspiracy theory. I'm sharing knowledge from my soul. And my soul didn't come here to this earth to build up to a certain point, then find myself censored and starved. If anything, this is just the beginning. And as that phrase goes, make lemonade out of lemons. I'm Alex Ansary signing off on this 29th day of February.